Hi everyone, welcome back to TechWiseRahul. In this video, we are going to discuss what is the difference between Kubernetes and OpenShift. This question comes to me from one of my friend where he has been offered to work on OpenShift but he has an experience from Kubernetes background. So now in this video, we are going to discuss what is the difference between OpenShift and Kubernetes. We are going to discuss, for an example, if you have an experience with Kubernetes, how you can learn and do your day-to-day activities on OpenShift as well. What are the similarities, how we do the deployment in OpenShift, and what are the differences between them in terms of security, in terms of templates or other aspects of the configuration part. Now let's proceed and discuss each one of them in detail. Now let's first discuss what is the difference between Kubernetes and OpenShift. We are going to start with the definition of Kubernetes and the OpenShift, that is the standard one. So let's talk about the Kubernetes. We know that it's an open source platform that is being used for automating the deployment, scaling and managing of your containerized application. Now let's discuss what does OpenShift do for us in terms of container orchestration. It is a Kubernetes based platform developed by Red Hat and providing additional features and tools for enterprise needs. For it is an open source, so we don't have an enterprise version for it. But in OpenShift we have it. For an example, if you need 24/7 support for your environment, you can go with OpenShift because Red Hat team is going to support you for any issues related to your infrastructure. Now let's discuss the other factor that we need to take into account while discussing the difference between Kubernetes and OpenShift. Let's discuss the first, that is deployment. In Kubernetes, we have a more flexibility due to its open source framework and it can be installed on almost any of the platform, just like as Microsoft Azure, AWS and GCP, and as well as any of the Linux distribution like as in Ubuntu, Red Hat supporting OS or Fedora or CentOS. On the other hand, OpenShift only supports Red Hat proprietary or the Red Hat Enterprise Linux atomic host, just like as Fedora or CentOS. Now let's discuss the security aspects if we are using Kubernetes or OpenShift. So in terms of security aspects, now let's discuss what we have if we go with OpenShift as a container orchestration tool. OpenShift has a stricter security policies. For instance, it is forbidden to run a container as a root. So it also offers a secure by default option to enhance the security. On the other hand, Kubernetes doesn't come with built-in authentication and authorization capabilities. So developer must create bearer tokens and other authentications procedures manually that we have to manage in Kubernetes by themselves if we are going with Kubernetes as a container orchestration tools. Now let's discuss in terms of support what we have it if we are going with OpenShift or Kubernetes. So as you can see here in Kubernetes, we have a large actively community of developers who are continuously collaborating on refining the platform as for being Kubernetes as an open source platform. But in terms of OpenShift, what we have that they have only small supported community that is primarily limited to Red Hat developers only. Discuss the other aspects, that is in terms of networking what we have if we are going with Kubernetes or OpenShift. So Kubernetes lacks the networking solutions but let user imply a third party networks plugin just like as Calico, ViveNet. In the OpenShift on the other hand has its out of the box networking solution called OpenVSwitch, which comes with 3 native plugins. Now let's discuss the next part, that is templates. What we have it if we are going with Kubernetes in terms of template for managing the deployment or other resources of Kubernetes, and what we have it if we are going with OpenShift for managing the manifest of the resources. So Kubernetes offer Helm templates that are easily to use and provide a generous amount of flexibility. But in OpenShift, templates are nowhere near as flexible or user friendly. Now let's discuss the other part that is one of the most important thing, that is image registry management, where we are holding or keeping our images for our application. Kubernetes doesn't have any integrated image registry, although is allowed to pull images from other private repository or registry. We can say that just like as Docker Hub, Nexus, we can integrate in our pods, pull the images from any other private repository just like as Docker Hub or Nexus. But in the OpenShift, on the other hand, we have as a built-in image registry that pairs seamlessly with the Docker Hubs of Red Hat. Therefore, developer can use their images streams to effortless search and manage the container images. So this is the extra advantage we have it if we are going with OpenShift, where we have to manage our images and stored it in our image container registry in the Red Hat enterprise itself. Let's discuss and the last part, that is how was the user experience and the interface if you are going with Kubernetes or OpenShift. So Kubernetes has the complex web interface that's may potentials befuddle newbies. It means that users who want to access the Kubernetes web graphics or user interface, you can say that GUI, they need to install the Kubernetes dashboard and they need to enable the kube proxy and say their machine port to the cluster servers. So user also must be have a token to make an authentication and authorization, since the dashboard doesn't have any login page. So you have to integrate OIDC and other third-party tools to integrate your Kubernetes dashboard. On the other hand, OpenShift has a web console which includes a one-touch login page. The consoles offer a simple form-based interface and allowing user to add, delete and modify the resources. And OpenShift has a distinct user advantage. So before you decide whether you want to go with Kubernetes and OpenShift, you have to think all this in an account, that how you want to manage your deployment, how you want to take in an account in terms of security, how you want to manage your image container registry, and how you want your guided user interface or GUI of your Kubernetes cluster. Thank you for following till the last. If you encountered any issues to understand the difference between OpenShift and Kubernetes, or need a suggestion as per your requirement to go with either Kubernetes or OpenShift, you can comment on this video so that we can help you for choosing the same. You're an active learner, and if you wanted to make a decision that whether you learn Kubernetes or OpenShift, what we would suggest, make on a foundation with Kubernetes, but as per your requirement, if you have a project to work on OpenShift, don't hesitate to work on OpenShift. There is no much bigger difference in terms of container orchestration. Yes, they have their own enterprise, they have their own infrastructure to manage the Kubernetes cluster, but the concept wise things are same. In OpenShift, they have a different command line utility. In Kubernetes, we have kubectl. Thank you for watching. See you in next video.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.